It's been over 20 years since Rare blessed the Nintendo 64 with Conker's Bad Fur Day. The game came out at the tail end of the N64's lifespan, becoming one of the most memorable games Rare has ever made. On the surface, it looked like a kid-friendly game, but on the inside, it had violence, swearing, sexual content, and the use of alcohol. The game itself came with multiple warnings of being a mature video game, but kids of all ages seem to have played this game at some point in their life. Since the release of Conker's Bad Fur Day, Nintendo has gone through 4 different consoles, all with their own technological advancements. Now let's ask the ultimate question. How does Conker's Bad Fur Day hold up to today's video game environment?
What are you doing? You stupid bastard! He hasn't even got a neck.
Yeah, look at you up there hanging there. You stupid bastard ain't got a neck, are you? He ain't got a neck, has he?
I already said that. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
Before we get into Conker and his Bad Fur Day, let's take you back to when he was a cute, innocent, fluffy squirrel. Did you know Conker's first game was Diddy Kong Racing back in '97? He was alongside many fellow racers, including Banjo, who would go on to star in his own game, Banjo-Kazooie, 1 year later. Conker was also slated to have his very first solo game, which at the time was more aimed toward a family-friendly demographic. This game was going to be known as 12 Tales Conker 64. The game was shown at E3 in '98. Unfortunately, this game was criticized as being yet another kid game in a sea full of kid games. The Nintendo 64 at the time was known for its huge library of games geared towards kids. So what did Rareware decide to do with Conker? They went in the complete and total opposite direction of all their other games prior.
Why is it everybody so offensive around here?
Either bring me back me missing cogs.
You don't have to shout.
I'm deaf. Speak up.
Hang on a second.
Well, hello there. And aren't you the handsome one?
The story of Conker's Bad Fur Day is a hilarious one. Conker lies to his girlfriend Barry to go out and drink at the pub. He gets drunk and also gets lost trying to find his way back home. Conker then wakes up in the middle of a grassy field with a mega hangover, and the story takes off from there. Conker spends the whole game trying to find his way back home to his girlfriend Barry. While doing so, Conker comes across a wacky cast of characters. Another story that takes place simultaneously is the main villain, King Panther. His table keeps knocking off his precious glass of milk, and the only thing that can fix this issue is to go out and find a squirrel to fit into the missing peg leg of the table. It's as goofy as it sounds, and that's because, well, it is. For starters, in this game, you hit things with a frying pan, there is swearing aplenty, good amounts of gore and violence, lots of movie references for the time, fully animated cutscenes with voices provided to each character. Fun fact, a total of 3 people provided all the voices for Conker's Bad Fur Day. Chris Marlowe did only one voice, the Great Mighty Pooh, and Louise Ridgway, she did all of the women's voices. Every other voice was handled by the director of the game, Chris Seaver.
Hey, Maestro, don't you think that's a little bit too dramatic? Can you give me something with a bit more of a beat? Yeah, that's better.
The gameplay of Conker's Bad Fur Day is inspired by platforming games. You jump, you hover with your tail, you hit things with your frying pan, your health bar is chocolate, and you collect items throughout the game. Remember how in Mario 64 at the end of a level you would collect a star? Also remember how in Banjo-Kazooie you would collect jigsaw pieces, also known as jiggies, throughout the level? In Conker's Bad Fur Day though, you collect cash. There are bosses in this game that are some of the most inventive I've ever seen. A pile of hay that's also a Terminator, a giant caveman, some big furnace looking dude with giant balls, and of course the best boss of all time, the Great Mighty Pooh, a giant piece of crap that sings opera.
Me. I
am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
One of the cool things about Conker's Bad Fur Day is once you've completed the story, there is a multiplayer with 7 different game types: beach, raptor, heist, war, tank, race, and deathmatch. It's hard to believe this game cartridge held 64 megabytes of data and didn't even need an expansion pack. Now for the big question that's on everyone's mind, and the reason why they came to this video. Does the game still hold up after 2 decades? Yes and no. Conker's Bad Fur Day is still a very hilarious game. The game's graphics were very impressive for 2001, and they still look impressive to this day. The soundtrack for Conker's Bad Fur Day is remarkable, and is truly an art form that does not exist in today's games anymore. The game has one of the biggest twists, followed up by one of the more darker and depressing endings I've ever seen in video game history. I won't spoil it here, but if you ever want to check it out, please do. With all of that said, here's the bad. Conker's controls did not age well at all. This was originally on the N64 controller, and looking back, it's hard to believe that we could play games on that freaking thing. The combat controls were average, but once you get to the shooting part of the game, it is some of the worst shooting mechanics in any game I've ever played. You will spend a lot of your time dying at these parts of the game. Conker's Bad Fur Day had a fixed inverted camera angle, so you could either get used to it or fail miserably, like I did. Like most older games on the N64, the camera angles would get stuck on walls, and you'd be blind not knowing what's going on and constantly getting hit by enemies. Some of those parts of the game are really annoying and unforgivable at times.
Could you get me out of here? I think it's that switch over there. But be careful. I think the other one is, frying tonight.
Yeah, just stay there. The cavalry has arrived. Sorry, you can't move. Let's see now.
Do you know which switch it is?
Yeah, it's written on it. Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny. Okay. Oh.
Oh, hang on a second, I think it's this one, actually. Okay.
Well, what do you know? I'm not quite dead. Thanks for that. Feel a bit strange, though. How do I look?
You look great.
I gotta go.
After the Nintendo 64 version, there was an Xbox original remake called Conker Live and Reloaded. The remake was supposed to have all unedited scenes and swearing, but Microsoft chickened out at the last minute and even edited the game down, making the N64 version more adult by comparison. Conker Live and Reloaded did heavily improve upon the gameplay mechanics. The shooting and the aiming was so much better. Reloaded focused more on the Xbox Live aspect where you played multiplayer online. As of right now, there are no plans for a sequel to Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think in today's landscape of video games, that game would be hard to make today. So a sequel is definitely out of the question.
I was gonna stick my big fork right in yours.
Were your parents related, like before they were married?
Right, that's it. I was gonna give you a whooping. Here we go. I've seen some kicking ass in my time, and that is the crappiest kick-ass I've ever seen.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is one game that will live on in Nintendo fans' hearts. We may never see another game quite like it ever in our lifetime. So if you want to experience this game for how it was intended, dust off your N64s or download Rare Replay on the Xbox One. There's also emulators. It might be a little frustrating with the wonky controls, especially toward the end of the game, but go on and give this game a chance for the cutscenes alone.
chew on this, buzz suckers.
Hello, my name is Everything Animated, also known as EA. If you liked this video, please give this video a like. Subscribe for more content, and please share this video out. It helps the algorithm a lot. Thank you, have a wonderful day.